Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Georgia. So today I'm coming back to George Carlin because he is one of my favourite comedians to react to, and I haven't really done him for a while, so I thought, you know what, today I'm going to come back to George Carlin. So I'm reacting to one called George Carlin on Soft Language. I've never heard it before, so I thought I'd go with that one. So yeah, let's get on with the video.
I don't like words that hide the truth. I don't like words that conceal reality. I don't like euphemisms or euphemistic language. And American English is loaded with euphemisms because Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth. So they invent a kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation. For some reason, it just keeps getting worse. I'll give you an example of that. There's a condition in combat. Most people know about it. It's when a fighting person's nervous system has been stressed to its absolute peak and maximum, can't take any more input. The nervous system has either snapped or is about to snap. In the First World War, that condition was called shell shock. Simple, honest, direct language. 2 syllables, shell shock. Almost sounds like the guns themselves. That was 70 years ago. Then a whole generation went by, and the Second World War came along, and the very same combat condition was called battle fatigue. 4 syllables now. Takes a little longer to say. Doesn't seem to hurt as much.
I feel like maybe though with all of that stuff, maybe it's because as generations go on, the instinct to feel more comfortable in life and like happy just gets even stronger. So people keep trying to like find more ways to like make themselves feel comfortable. Don't know if it's an instinct thing, I'm not really sure, but I feel like everyone just wants to feel the most comfortable in life, so everyone's really trying like so hard to achieve that. So they just want to like, yeah, so like the whole thing of this, like as the generations go on, it gets like worse and worse and worse. I'm not really sure though, I just feel like maybe that's what it is, or maybe we're just so bored that we're just trying to find things to like change or to like, I'm not really sure to be honest, but maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Syllables now. Takes a little longer to say. Doesn't seem to hurt as much. Fatigue is a nicer word than shock. Shell shock. Battle fatigue. Then we had the war in Korea, 1950. Madison Avenue was riding high by that time, and the very same combat condition was called operational exhaustion. Hey, we're up to 8 syllables now. And the humanity has been squeezed completely out of the phrase. It's totally sterile now. Operational exhaustion. Sounds like something that might happen to your car. Then, of course, came the war in Vietnam, which has only been over for about 16 or 17 years. And thanks to the lies and deceit surrounding that war, I guess it's no surprise that the very same condition was called post-traumatic stress disorder. Still 8 syllables, but we've added a hyphen. And the pain is completely buried under jargon. Post-traumatic stress disorder. I'll bet you if we'd have still been calling it shell shock, some of those Vietnam veterans might have gotten the attention they needed at the time. I'll bet you that.
I mean, the thing is, I'm just going to take his word for it because I don't really know anything about like war and stuff and like what happened in Vietnam. I'm not really clued up on this stuff. But yeah, I'm just going to take his word for it because I mean, he seems like quite an intelligent man. The thing is with him, he seems to like putting his own like opinions into his comedy, which is kind of the reason I like him, because I feel like it's teaching me something, do you know what I mean? And I quite like that, so yeah.
Might have gotten the attention they needed at the time. I'll bet you that. I'll bet you that. But it didn't happen. And one of the reasons is because we were using that soft language, that language that takes the life out of life. And it is a function of time. It does keep getting worse. Give you another example. Sometime during my life, toilet paper became bathroom tissue. I wasn't notified of this. No one asked me if I agreed with it. It just happened. Toilet paper became bathroom tissue. Sneakers became...
No, that reminds me, right? The one way you realise how bored the world becomes and they start arguing over simple things. So I'm pretty sure it's on the internet once. People are arguing about like toilet paper, like whether or not you hang it over the top or the bottom or something. And I feel like that really shows you that all these little debates about like the world, the people can have debates about toilet tissue and how it's supposed to hang on the holder thing. And I'm like, when that starts happening, you really know that the world has just got really bored. So they're like, do you know what, let's argue about toilet paper. But yeah, that just reminded me of it. I think that is, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Because I remember reading it and being like, why are people arguing about this? But yeah.
It just happened. Toilet paper became bathroom tissue. Sneakers became running shoes. False teeth became dental appliances. Medicine became medication. Information became directory assistance. The dump became the landfill. Car crashes became automobile accidents. Partly cloudy became partly sunny. Motels became motor lodges. House trailers became mobile homes.
If anything, we're just overcomplicating things. Him saying that is really making me realise that before it was just quite simple, but now we just have to overcomplicate words, and it really just doesn't need to happen. Like, we think we're making it better sounding and stuff, but really we're just making it more complicated for everybody.
Hotels became motor lodges. House trailers became mobile homes. Used cars became previously owned transportation. Room service became guest room dining, and constipation became occasional irregularity. When I was a little kid, if I got sick, they wanted me to go to the hospital and see the doctor. Now they want me to go to a health maintenance organization or a wellness center to consult a healthcare delivery professional. Poor people used to live in slums. Now the economically disadvantaged occupy substandard housing in the inner cities. And they're broke. They're broke. They don't have a negative cash flow position. They're fucking broke. Because a lot of them were fired. You know, fired. Management wanted to curtail redundancies in the human resources area, so many people are no longer viable members of the workforce. Smug, greedy, well-fed white people have invented a language to conceal their sins. It's as simple as that. The CIA doesn't kill anybody anymore. They neutralize people. Or they depopulate the area. The government doesn't lie. It engages in disinformation. The Pentagon actually measures nuclear radiation in something they call sunshine units. Israeli...
That makes you realise though that it's like, it's not even just changing words for like normal things. Do you know what I mean? It's like the small things like toilet paper to bathroom tissue, you know, that's like a little thing. Doesn't really matter that they've changed it. But now it's like changing things to make things sound nice are actually really bad. So, you know, you're under this false impression that that isn't that bad because, you know, it's put in nice, pretty words. But really, when you actually think about what it is, it's really bad. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like this is actually having somewhat a bad effect on certain things. I guess like even with maybe even in the news and stuff, like they'll put things in like pretty words. When you actually like think about what it says, you're like, no, that's actually quite bad. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure, but that's the sort of vibe I'm getting from what he's saying, so yeah.
And something they call sunshine units. Israeli murderers are called commandos. Arab commandos are called terrorists. Contra killers are called freedom fighters. Well, if crime fighters fight crime and firefighters fight fire, what do freedom fighters fight? They never mention that part of it to us, do they? Never mention that part of it. And some of this stuff is just silly. We all know that. Like on the airlines, they say they want a pre-board. Well, what the hell is pre-board? What does that mean? To get on before you get on? They say they're going to pre-board those passengers in need of special assistance. Cripples! Simple, honest, direct language. There's no shame attached to the word cripple that I can find in any dictionary. No shame attached to it. In fact, it's a word used in Bible translations. Jesus healed the cripples. Doesn't take 7 words to describe that condition. But we don't have any cripples in this country anymore. We have the physically challenged. Is that a grotesque enough evasion for you? How about differently abled? I've heard them called that, differently abled. You can't even call these people handicapped anymore. They'll say, we're not handicapped, we're handy-capable. These poor people have been bullshitted by the system into believing that if you change the name of the condition, somehow you'll change the condition. Well, hey, cousin, doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. We have no more deaf people in this country, hearing impaired. No one's blind anymore, partially sighted or visually impaired.
Yeah, that's the thing with like those words. I'm like, I don't really have an opinion on it. I mean, I've never really heard anyone like say it in real life, but I feel like a lot of words is said to be rude or mean. It's really not. Do you know what I mean? Like when people say they were blind, like, oh, that person's blind. It's like, they're not going out of their way to be horrible. Like, you're not saying it thinking that you're being horrible, but you're trying to, like, people are trying to say that you are, and I'm like, oh, stop. Do you know what I mean? I feel like people just need to relax a little bit, you know? It's not that deep, but yeah.
Impaired. No one's blind anymore, partially sighted or visually impaired. We have no more stupid people. Everybody has a learning disorder. Or he's minimally exceptional. How would you like to be told that about your child? He's minimally exceptional. Oh, thank God for that. Psychologists actually have started calling ugly people those with severe appearance deficits. It's getting so bad that any day now I expect to hear a rape victim referred to as an unwilling sperm recipient. And we have no more old people in this country. No more old people. We shipped them all away, and we brought in these senior citizens. Isn't that a typically American 20th century phrase? Bloodless, lifeless. No pulse in one of them. A senior citizen. But I've accepted that one. I've come to terms with it. I know it's here to stay. We'll never get rid of it. That's what they're going to be called, so I'll relax on that. But the one I do resist, the one I keep resisting, is when they look at an old guy and they'll say, look at him, Dan. He's 90 years young. Imagine the fear of aging that reveals. To not even be able to use the word old to describe someone, to have to use an antonym. And fear of aging is natural, it's universal, isn't it? We all have that. No one wants to get old, no one wants to die, but we do. So we bullshit ourselves. I started bullshitting myself when I got to my 40s. As soon as I was in my 40s, I'd look in the mirror and I'd say, well, I guess I'm getting older. Older sounds a little better than old, doesn't it? Sounds like it might even last a little longer. Bullshit, I'm getting old. And it's okay, because thanks to our fear of death in this country, I won't have to die. I'll pass away.
To be fair, I don't really like the prospect of death either, but like I'm 19, so I still feel like I've got ages to go. I really don't need to worry about it, but maybe that's what I'll do when I'm 40. I'll just look in the mirror and go, yeah, I'm getting older, but it's fine, do you know what I mean?
Or I'll expire like a magazine subscription. If it happens in the hospital, they'll call it a terminal episode. The insurance company will refer to it as negative patient care outcome. And if it's the result of malpractice, they'll say it was a therapeutic misadventure. I'm telling you, some of this language makes me want to vomit. Well, maybe not vomit. Makes me want to engage in an involuntary personal protein spill. Thank you all.
So yeah, I think that's the end of that clip. Do you know what? I actually really like him because I feel like he's the one that teaches you something at the same time as it being like funny and like enjoyable to listen to. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like when you listen to something that's like serious and like they're trying to teach you something but it's kind of boring and serious, nothing really goes in. But when it's like what he does, like fun and put in a fun way, I feel like you actually learn more because like you're having fun while you're listening and learning stuff. But yeah, so I really like him actually. So before I babble on, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and please turn on the notification bell. Goodbye!